I've been asked to make a pinata of an Olympic flag. So I've got me rings, they're printed out, and I cut a fruit box down. Just put some core fluid on the inside to keep it stable, and now I start wrapping the outside with newspaper and a mix of flour and water for the gloop-de-gloop. So we'll do this for about 5 or 6 layers, and then we'll come back and I'll show you what happens next. Okay, so once we've got the first couple of layers on, I've just taken it outside to dry. It's a fairly sunny day. After about 3 or 4 hours, hopefully it's baked a little bit, and then we'll put another 3 or 4 layers on and do the same thing. So as you can see, what I've done now is, because this pinata is actually going to be a flag, I've taped some paper at the end, some thicker paper, just here, and we're going to tape this on to give it that effect of a flag waving in the wind. And then what we'll do next is we'll cover it in white paper, as the Olympics flag is a white background. So we'll put a couple of layers of just copy paper over it, and we'll make it white. What I've done is, over here I've just put an extra couple of pieces of paper on the end of the box that we started off with to give it that flag effect at the end, and I've just covered it with white paper. Obviously it's a white flag, so I've just used printing paper, copy paper, and what we do is I use a fry pan because it's nice and shallow, and I fill it with just water and flour, and that's all you need to use for a glue, is just water and flour. That works fine. And then once we've finished putting a couple of layers of the white paper and stuck them over the flag through various places just to make it nice and even, and then we'll put the rings on afterwards. But before we do that, we're going to have to cut a hole in the top and also make some fixings to be able to hang the pinata, and that's what we'll do next. We'll get stuck into that soon. Okay, for fixing the pinata, now we want it to hang nice and straight. So what I've done is I've worked out where the centre of gravity is, just here, and then marked it on the top where we're going to be cutting out a hole here. This is where we put the lollies in, and these 4 holes is where we'll be putting some nylon rope or twine, you might call it, to actually hold the pinata so it can be fixed to wherever it needs to go. Alright, coming to drill the holes. Now, I use just a battery powered drill. Now, you'll have to excuse the quality of this video, it's the first one I've made. I do make a lot of different pinatas, usually using a balloon, and make faces and characters. I've got one photo here of a C-3PO pinata I recently made for one of the kids' birthdays. This one's actually for their school project, so they probably should be doing it, but I'm showing them how to do it. So what we do is we drill through. When you're drilling through paper mache, be very careful, because sometimes if you press too hard you will make indentations and divots in the project. So just go very slowly with the drill, because with paper mache, because it's layered paper, sometimes it just won't catch and it can be a bit awkward. But we just slowly through, just hold your line, don't put too much pressure on, and eventually it will just drill through the paper. And then once we've done this, I'll get back to you. Okay kids, now just a quick message. Got to do the right thing, and that is, if you're using drills or sharp knives to make your pinatas, Please just ask your parents before you go ahead with using those tools, because they have been using them a lot longer than you guys. So next thing we do is we take the twine and then I thread it through these holes on the outside. Now I usually take it through twice, through each hole, and this makes it spread the weight, because you're going to have it full of lollies. So if you spread the weight over a larger distance, there's less chance of the pinata breaking away from its support. So what I'm going to do now is put these through, and I'll show you how it looks when it's done. Now you can see some spots of blood on the right there. Yes, that knife was sharp, so beware of that, kids. And see how I've crossed around and spread the twine around the 4 different holes. What this does is it just spreads the weight, and now you can see as we hold it up, the flag, my arms aren't long enough, but the flag is now hanging nice and straight. So next step is fill in the pinata with all the goodies. Now you probably noticed that I've used all wrapped lollies for this project. The reason being, it's going to school, and once the lollies start falling all over the floor, you're not too sure on what the ground's going to be like. So I've done all wrapped lollies, and also they're softer wrapped lollies too, because when you're hitting the box with a stick, if you put in things like barley sugars and crunchy type wrapped lollies, they tend to shatter, and when they come out, there's all broken bits of lolly all over the place. This is what I've used. If you're making a pinata and you're going to use it indoors, you can fill it with soft lollies and unwrapped lollies. That all just comes down to your own personal choice. So what I'm going to do now, if I can keep the ladder, let's try the camera, and then just place them in until they're all in there. Even got little boxes of Smarties. Place them all in. Once that's full, then what we'll do is we'll tie the string up, and then I'll actually put some white paper over the top of the hole just to close it up, so when the pinata is getting bashed by the bat, lollies don't come flying out of the top. So once I've filled the lollies, I'll take you to the next step. Okay, so the lollies are in. As you can see, I've put one strip of white paper along the 2 sides, and then I've cut some a little bit thinner, which I'll be covering the hole with, just to make sure that the lollies don't come flying out. Once we've done that, it's pretty much finished, and then it's just a matter of putting the rings on. Okay, here we have the Olympic rings. Just copied them off the internet. What I'm going to do now is soak this in some water and flour, and then we'll stick it to the flag, and the next step will be the finished product. See you then. And there we go, there's our finished product. So if you want to learn how to make an Olympic flag pinata, or any sort of pinata for that fact, just leave a comment below and I'll get in touch.